Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. So I have not made a video in a while, and so for those of you who are subscribed to me and have watched my videos in the past, hi, welcome back. And for anyone who might be new to my channel, or just haven't watched very many of my videos, I want to, since I have, it's been since October, September last year that I made a video. So welcome to 2021. I have meant to make a video for months now, and I keep getting interrupted. Like the couple of times my battery apparently on my camera was dead and I hadn't charged it. It's not holding its charge very long, so if I don't keep it plugged in constantly, it dies. You know, if I just leave it sitting for a week. So I need a new camera, and I just haven't had the wherewithal to buy a new one yet. I'm kind of looking at a couple of them, but they're like $700, and that's a lot of money. And I need a new computer, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why I haven't got a new camera yet. So let's hope that the battery stays up long enough for me to get this video out. So there's that. That was one of the main problems, is I just kept forgetting to keep it plugged in, and then just not having battery when I was ready to actually film. So I'm like, and or just, you know, just like life keeps happening and things. So for anyone who's new to my channel, let me just kind of give a brief introduction since I haven't made one in a long time. First of all, for anyone who wants to know how to pronounce my username, it's Kleineganz. It's German. It's for anyone who is German or knows German. Yes, I misspelled it because it's supposed to mean little goose. If you look at the icon for the channel, if you look at little goslings and ducklings, they look very similar. So it's some people think it's a duckling, but it's actually supposed to be a gosling. And so yeah, little goose. And long story short, it's a nickname that came from my relatives in Germany. I grew up as a first-generation American. Both my mom and dad were born in Europe and immigrated here as kids, so all my grandparents were from Europe. I was raised by my German grandmother, and so I spoke German at home, and my relatives, her nephew and his family, we still exchange Christmas presents, Christmas packages every year, and they used to call me in German Die kleine Gänschen von Michigansee, which translates to the little goose from Lake Michigan, because I was born and raised in Chicago. And so that's basically, like, I took that and condensed that down to a username, and this was back in my days on Friendster. So if you've ever heard of Friendster, early 2000s, was an early social media platform that I was on. This was before Facebook was available to people who were not college students anymore. So I was on Friendster, and I was looking for a username to create, and I kept trying different things, and they kept being used, like people had already taken them. And then I was like, oh, well, why don't I use this, you know, make a nickname out of this thing that my family used to call me. And I did spell it correctly with an S on the end, because in German, G-A-N-S, Gans, is the goose, and G-A-N-Z is it's the whole, the Gans, the whole thing. You know, I'm gonna eat the whole cake, so I'll you know, I won't translate it in German because my German's rusty, but you get the idea. So yes, so the meaning is a bit off with the way I spelled it, but I ended up changing it to the Z just because at least it sounds right. And I think it looks cooler with the Z anyway, even if it's wrong. So, you know, forgive my Americanism there with that, but that's where the username came from. But it's Kleineganz is the pronunciation for it. Anyway, and I started this channel almost a decade ago. I mean, it was like literally 10 years ago this year, like in 2011. I started seriously filming. I know if you look at my history, because I haven't deleted any of the early videos, I made a couple of videos here and there. I think there's a couple of my cat Maury, who passed away years ago, and some weather ones, and I did some tags and stuff, and then I kind of started seriously filming after that. And the impetus that really got me into it was the countdown to my 40th birthday, and kind of doing a retrospective of what life was like for me, like different memories and things from each year, you know. And I think I went backwards from 39 all the way back to when I was like a year old. And that was a decade ago. I turned 50 later this year. And so I might just make a little series of videos, again, counting down. Now, I don't know if I'll redo the countdown, maybe with a better camera and everything. You know, going from 49 down to my first birthday, and just kind of redoing all that. If anyone is interested in me doing that, if you know, leave a comment below, let me know, because I certainly can do that. But otherwise, I might just do like the last 10 years, because you can always go back and watch the first 40, and then see 49 to 39 in terms of my memories and things like that. So I might just do it that way. But yeah, so that's where I kind of started. And I one of the things is I had that idea of doing that, and then I was like, well, let me start filming other things first, just to kind of get comfortable in front of the camera. And that's why I did a couple of tag videos and that kind of thing first, before getting into that. And then I had so much fun doing those videos, even though they never got a lot of views. They still don't have a lot of views, and I don't really care. I didn't really do it to get popular on YouTube, and you know, I'm just shy of 1,500 subscribers, so I'm not really that popular. I mean, for some people that sounds like a lot of subscribers, but if you consider the popular YouTubers have hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, you know, I'm barely scratching the surface here. And I lost my monetization years ago because YouTube changed the requirements. I was a paid monetized channel for a long time, but then I have enough subscribers to be monetized, but I don't have enough watch time. And part of that, I mean, and I actually, I was not getting enough watch time even when I was uploading a new video once a week. I used to do weekly vlogs. I don't anymore, obviously. And so I'm obviously, now that once I lost monetization, I kind of lost the motivation to post weekly, and a lot of stuff happened in my life. I'm trying to remember if I lost the monetization before or after this happened, but after my husband passed away 5 years ago, yeah, and that was 5 years already. After that happened, you know, I was not filming a lot after that, and I just kind of lost a lot of my motivation to do much of anything for a while. And you know, and my life has evolved a lot since that happened. I had been running my own consulting agency back then, and I shut that down in 2018 because there were a lot of factors. I mean, obviously losing my husband was a big part of it. I had kind of stopped working. I started using a lot of subcontractors and letting them do the work for me, just so that I could keep the business going. But at the same time, I started getting rusty. It's a very fast-paced, dynamic thing to do web analytics and things, and the industry is moving very, very fast. So if you don't keep up, you fall behind real fast. And I fell behind, technology-wise and everything. And the industry just kind of went in a direction from a tech perspective that I was not interested in going in. And so I eventually just kind of like, you know what, this is just not for me anymore. And I was doing that for a whole decade. I had my business for 10 years before I shut it down, and I loved it when I started it, but I wasn't loving it near the end, and so I was like, okay, I need to step away from this. And I had already been writing for about 3 years at that point. So that's the other thing, is I'm also I'm a writer. I started with fan fiction. I still write fan fiction, but I'm also a published author now. I have 2 novels out. I have a collection of short stories that I'm working on. Well, I've written and am currently editing to publish later this year. And I have a sci-fi novel that I'm still reworking right now. And Kindle Amazon Kindle just announced a new platform of kind of like serialized short stories, kind of a thing. It's a lot of the articles I've been reading have been comparing it to Wattpad, which I don't like that comparison, because I really don't like Wattpad for a variety of reasons. I post all my fan fiction to Archive of Our Own, or AO3, and so I'm still, so when I do my fan fiction, I post it there, but I'm like, you know, since I write a lot of fan fiction, and most of my fan fiction is they're alternate universe stories, and so I'm like, you know what, I bet you I could take some of my concepts, because I have several stories that I have not posted yet. I'm like, you know what, they're original enough that I can do a couple of tweaks here and there and turn them into original stories, and since I haven't posted them online anywhere, I can repurpose them for this new Kindle Vella program and see how they do. So I might just be doing that. And just so you know, I write gay erotica, basically. there's almost always smut in my stories, and it's almost always 2 guys, because that's just what I tend to enjoy writing. Now, with the caveat being that with the science fiction novel I'm writing writing that for a more general audience, so obviously no smut. But there's still going to end up being gay stuff in it anyway, because that's just, you know. And, you know, for those of you who don't know me, yes, I'm gay, but yes, well, yes, but I mean, one of the things that if you look at my older videos and things, you'll notice that I look a little different in some of my old videos, and that's because I am a transgender man, and I used to look more feminine than I do now. A lot of my videos I was just wearing hoodies and threw my hair back in a ponytail and whatever. Some videos you'll see me looking a little bit more dolled up with makeup and trying to look more feminine and stuff. This was all before I kind of started really kind of introspectively looking at myself and looking at my gender identity, and if you look at, I have a whole series of all my videos in terms of my coming out and how I was struggling to identify myself initially. I identified as genderqueer and bigender, and just I was struggling a lot with my identity initially, until I started having some revelations, especially through therapy and stuff, of, no, I'm actually a guy. No. And once I kind of became comfortable with how I actually identified, that's when I decided to move forward with transition and things. And I started transitioning in 2018 is when I started testosterone in June of 2018, so it's almost 3 years now that I've been on testosterone. I had a few surgeries in 2019. I'm done with everything. And no, it's none of your business which surgeries I've had and which ones I haven't. It's, you know, I do talk about them to a certain extent, so if you're really interested, go look at my other videos. I'm rambling enough as it is without me going into detail about that in this video. So, but yeah, so I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm a writer, and I've also done a lot of writing in terms of just LGBTQ articles, nonfiction articles. I post on a platform called Medium, and Medium has a lot of publications on it, and so I try to get as many of my pieces published through a publication. And actually, I've actually had a number of publications, like, they just come to me and say, hey, I really like this piece. Would you mind us putting it into our publication, and would you mind becoming, a writer? And so I think I've got like 4 or 5 publications that literally just out of the blue just came to me and said, hey, we really like your writing. Would you write for us? Which, to be perfectly honest, I was flabbergasted the first time that happened, and then it happened 4 more times, and I'm like, okay, I guess people like what I do. Now, LGBTQ content, it is a niche area, so I'm not getting as much income from that as I'd like. What's interesting with Medium is a lot of my pieces have been picked up by Google. So my articles are showing up in Google search, which is driving a lot of traffic to my articles. I've got some pieces that have like 10,000, 20,000 plus reads, but they're all external reads, and so I'm not getting paid for them. The way Medium works is you only get paid if the person reading it is a paid subscriber to Medium, and they charge like $5 a month to get unlimited articles. Otherwise, anyone can read up to 3 articles a month, and then everything's behind a paywall after that. So it pluses and minuses on that. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I'm seeing a lot of traffic to my pieces, and the main goal of my writing these pieces is to kind of inform the public about, well, these are the issues that are the LGBTQ community faces. And yes, I write mostly trans, and I mostly write from the trans male perspective because that's my lived experience. And so you see a lot about trans women in the media, and of course they've got it the hardest, especially trans women of color. They definitely have the shortest end of the stick on every level. But I can't write from their perspective because I don't live that experience. I am a white trans man, and so I don't want to try and put my voice to their problems, because it's not my place in many ways. I mean, obviously there are overlaps in terms of experience, and so I write as general as possible most of the time, but there are times, and there's pieces I've written where I focus entirely on the transgender male issues, because there really aren't a lot of people writing from that perspective, and there's a lot of people out there who either don't realize that we even exist, or just tend to ignore us, because every time you see anything in the media, especially the people who are against the transgender community, they're hyper focused against transgender women, and that's a problem. And so one of the things I'm hoping by getting more articles written from the transgender male perspective is to just kind of, one, divert some of the attention away from trans women, because it's just too hyper focused on in a negative way, hyper focused in a very negative way against trans women, and try and say, hey, look, there's an entire transgender community out here, and there's trans women, there's trans men, there's non-binary, there's all these different people. And so I want to try and raise more and more awareness of the community as a whole, and try and in some way get some of the negative focus away from the trans women. So whether I'm at all successful in that or not, I'm not that popular, but I'm getting some reads and things, and I have noticed that some people are actually referencing my articles as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm making a little teensy weensy dent And so that's all I can ask for, is to try and make some kind of difference in that perspective. And so, yeah, so I spend a lot of time writing, and video games is, I think, my, like, if I'm not writing, I'm playing video games. Kind of looking forward to some games that are going to be coming out. The remastered Diablo 2 sounds interesting. I really loved Diablo 3, and I've played through that one numerous times. Haven't played it in a while, though. My husband and I used to play it together a lot, and so, yeah, it's been a while since I played through it. But and I know he loved Diablo 2, and he was so excited when Diablo 3 came out. And I tried Diablo 2, but I couldn't get it to work properly on my computer. It was old enough that it just didn't work properly. And even once I had gotten the mods and patches to get it to work, the title was dated enough that I struggled with it. And I also tried Diablo 1 as well, and it's like, and that one was so old that I just couldn't get into it. And so, but being able to go back and replay, and actually play Diablo 2 in a refurbished mode that looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Dragon Age 4 is one I'm really looking forward to. Can't wait for that to come out. I know it's going to be another year or two at least until it comes out. I'm thinking 2023 is probably when we're going to see it. But in the meantime, I also have recently gotten myself an Oculus Quest 2 virtual reality headset. And man, that thing is cool. Love it. I'm using it for exercise. I'm replaying another old refurbished game, Myst, from the 90s, because that was like, Myst was my jam back in the 90s. Played that over and over again. And the entire series, there's a total of 5 games plus a spin-off. It was like I forget, was it Uru Ages of Mist or something, which was supposed to be a multiplayer that never happened. I actually really liked the game. So you have to play through the base game, and once you complete the base game, it then opens you up to this multiplayer experience. And so that exists. So you play through the game. The base game, obviously is playable, but then it opens you up to this city where you're supposed to have this multiplayer experience, and then I think there were supposed to be other quests and other gameplay available once you got into the multiplayer experience, but they never finished that part. So all you're left with is this abandoned city. You can run around in the city, and you can look at all the different areas, and I think you were supposed to be able to claim a residence and stuff, which I don't think you can even do, because, there's no one else there, so you can basically hunker down anywhere you want. But it's like a ghost town, and on one hand, it's kind of cool, but on the other hand, it's kind of creepy and a little sad at the same time. Yeah, so the Myst franchise is definitely one that I've near and dear to my heart, and I love that I can actually be, like, virtual reality, like I actually be in the world and, like, practically almost touching things. The haptic response on the controllers is certainly, like, makes my brain happy in terms of that. So that's been something that's been taking up a lot of my time lately, because I've been really enjoying that. So anyway, so yeah, that's kind of like who I am and what I've been up to lately. And yes, I'm still alive, still around. Still COVID-free, thankfully. I'm getting my first vaccine next week, finally. Scheduled for the second one next month. And then I'll be all vaccinated and everything, and I'm going to continue hunkering down in my house until then. I'm very much an introvert, always have been, so my life has not changed a lot because of the pandemic. I've been working out of the home since late 2008 anyway, and I've always been kind of an introvert, and especially after my husband died, other than my friend dragging me out to play trivia once a week at a pub, I really don't go out much. I'm very much an introvert. I've already said that, didn't I? Anyway, so yes, I'm a hermit. Let's put it that way, and I will continue probably to be a hermit. Being a writer really lends itself to that lifestyle. Let me tell you. But I'm lucky to have a nice house that I can hole up in, and I just go out to get groceries once a week, and every 2 weeks I have to go to a doctor for certain things and stuff. But for the most part, I just don't leave the house, and I'm happy as a clam. Doesn't bother me any. So anyhow, I have rambled more than long enough on this. I hope that you are glad to see me, or hi for anyone who's new. I keep saying that I'm gonna try and do more videos, and I keep failing at that, so I won't promise anything because I don't know. I mean, I would love to start doing something more regular on the channel again, but my attention keeps getting drawn to different areas. Like I said, I've got these different writing projects I'm working on, and sometimes I get really hyper focused on certain things and just let everything else stagnate. My channel has been one of those things that has stagnated for a while. We'll see if how much I revive it. If you really want to see me do more videos, tell me in the comments. Also tell me the kind of videos you'd like to see me do. I mean, I could throw up some more gaming videos. I mean, I do have my gaming channel that I put my gaming videos on. I still have some old gaming videos on this channel before I created the new one, but the new one never got as many views, and so I suppose I could always post them here again. I don't know. I do have The Sims 4, which one of the things I love doing in The Sims 4 is taking my characters from other games or other things. I've recently been playing around with some Sims that look like Sam and Dean and Castiel from Supernatural and putting them into scenarios and stuff. And so there's some fun things I could possibly do with that. I could do reaction videos, I could do meme videos. I mean, there's all sorts of things I could do. I just don't know how much of an interest there is in me doing any of those things, other than like my normal rambling videos like this one, which is what I normally do because I don't quite know what else other people want to see. So if there's anything you actually do want to see me talk about, especially if it's trans related, gay related, LGBTQ related, anything like that, I could talk about my writing process. Maybe I could read snippets from my books. I don't know. If you have something that sounds interesting to you, let me know. Comments, I mean, likes are great, subscribes are wonderful, but comments, talk to me. I'd love to have more of a dialogue with people because I'm a social media person and stuff. I'm on Twitter, Kleineganz again. So just come talk to me, and I will maybe do more stuff if more people tell me to. Alrighty, well, thanks for coming, and I will see you next time. Bye.